being a part of the preferential parking district. And once we receive a request from the residents, then we will prepare a initiation of a preferential parking study petition. And this petition will include all the address on the block of the street, and it needs to be circulated around to get at least 2/3 of the residents listed on this petition form to sign and concur that they want to establish a preferential parking district in the area. Then once we receive this petition back, we will conduct the parking study. And this parking study will be conducted during the day and time that residents says they encounter like parking issues. Then we need to observe at least a minimum of like 70% of occupancies on the street. And out of those 70% occupancies, we need to observe at least 50% of those are from their commuter vehicles. So what exactly is commuter vehicle? Commuter vehicle means those vehicles that don't belong to the community. Sometimes you can have a school nearby. Students attending those schools, they may park their cars on the residential street. That counts as like commuter vehicles. And if there's a park, people just go to the park and enjoy the event there, and park their cars on the street of your in front of your house. Those count as commuter vehicle as well. Then during our study, we will also recommend street sweeping regulations to be posted once the preferential parking district is established. Then after we conduct those studies, we will host community meetings to discuss what we found in these studies. And if establishment of the preferential parking district is recommended, we will prepare another petition to give to the requester to circulate around to make sure that people want to establish this preferential parking district. And this petition also needs 2/3 of majority concurrence in order for us to proceed. Then once we receive this second petition with the majority with 2/3 majority concurrence, then we will host another community meeting. And this time, this community meeting will involve more people, such as those residents live within 500 feet beyond their proposed district. They will also be invited to the meeting, and we will inform them, about this preferential parking district request that we receive from these communities. And we will let them know this will be presented to Board of Supervisors office for their consideration. Then after this community meeting, we will submit a report to the Board of Supervisors office, and which will shows what concerns that we receive or comments we receive in our meetings as for their reference. And we will also make recommendations based on the feedback that we receive in this meeting. Then after Board of Supervisors office receive the report from us, they will make a decision on whether to adopt an ordinance to establish the district or not. Then once this district is established, we will also propose the parking restrictions in the district, and also this time we will also need another petition from the residents saying that they want this parking restriction to be posted on their street. And once everything is done, then we will mail out those petition forms to the residents, ask them to apply for the permit if they want one. And once the petition package is mailed out, we will try to install those parking restriction signs in the preferential parking district ASAP. And once those signs is posted, we will give out 30-day grace period for the enforcement to come. For everything, there's always come with exceptions. And for this preferential parking district, we also have some exceptions, such as for those vehicles doing maintenance in the area, or delivering fuels, or do some package delivery. Those vehicles are exempt from preferential parking district regulations. And for the preferential parking district, for those residents who want the permit, they need to pay, because that just pay for minimum fees for us to cover the administration costs, operation costs, and maintenance costs. And for those vehicles that park on the street without a permit, they will be cited. And let's say if you have guests coming over to visit you over the weekend or during the day, if they don't have the permits, they can always apply or request gas permits from the nearby Shell stations. We will provide those free one-day permits to the Shell station for the guests to pick up. And also this parking permit doesn't exempt for those vehicles parked on the street sweeping days. Those regulations will also be enforced by the parking enforcement. So on the street sweeping days, we cannot park on the side that has the restrictions, even though you display the preferential parking district permits on your car. And sometimes on those streets, it has very high demand of parkings. Even though you have the parking permit, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get stopped on the street. It's like first come, first served basis. And also, if, as I mentioned before, if you have guests come over to visit you, just remind them, don't park on the street. Otherwise, they're going to get cited. And here are just some examples for the permit application that we sent recently to our district, and which will say how long this permit will last and how much the fees will be. Then this is just some example of those signs posted on another district showing what's the hours, what's the days that it applies. And it varies district by district. It all depends on what the district needs. Then it's just a sample of their parking permit. And again, my name is Emil Shi from Los Angeles County Public Works, and here's my contact information. And any questions?
I have a question on here.
Sure. Yes.
Can you please make sure you give them the mic so they can hear?
My name is Juan Carlos, and I have probably a few questions and comments. First of all, I don't understand why you're here or who asked you to come. Because we don't. This is one of the poorest communities. Okay. Thank you. So this is one of the poorest communities. We don't need to start spending money on permits. I'm not saying parking isn't a problem, but we have much bigger problems in this community. We have problems with crime. We have 12-year-olds using meth. So if we want to build anything in this community, we want to build programs. There's no anger management programs. There's no. I'm not done talking.
I'm just telling you, you should come to the community meetings.
I'm not done talking. Please let me finish speaking. I'm on the mic right now. Please let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
Again, I don't understand why you're here. We do not need those type of services. People in this community are.
Some
people,
residents do
finish.
have issues with parking.
Let me finish.
I've been raised here all my life and we've been, this is worse than ever.
Let me finish.
So we would like to address it.
You
You're
can,
not
you
speaking
can
for all
address
of us,
it.
sir.
Let me finish. Let me finish talking. Let me finish talking. I'm not saying parking isn't a problem. I'm just saying that we have bigger problems in this community and we can address those. That's all I'm saying.
Hi, my name is Lily Gonzalez and I'm a resident of Florence-Firestone as well. And I understand the concerns around parking and the concerns around industry and businesses taking up parking for residents. That is a legitimate concern. However, I do not believe that this is the solution that this community needs. This is further going to criminalize folks who are going to be impacted by those fees. There's a 30-day window. There's so many concerns to a community that's already has been disenfranchised by the county. Our library has been removed. This is leading to gentrification. That is what it's setting up. And you're just that's gonna facilitate further criminalization of folks. And not only that, but having them register with the sheriff's department, which we know like how communities of color have been criminalized. Like, this is not the solution. I do think that we need to explore other options. I don't think that this one is it. And maybe as a community we can discuss what those are, but to automatically say that fees are the answer to people, you know, that are elderly, that are limited income, like this is Florence-Firestone, like we don't have it like that. So I don't think that this is gonna be a fit here because of what it's gonna bring about.
I see. That's why we have those petition forms for the request to circulate. So we need to make sure the majority of the residents are concurrent with this proposal. You know, if we don't receive like 2/3 concurrence, we wouldn't proceed. So it's all based on community needs, community demands.
My question is also about the fee. And what if the household has more than 2 or 3 vehicles? Does that fee apply to each vehicle or?
You know, those fees are determined based on, how many available parking space on the street and, how many signs we need to put up and what's the maintenance cost. We just, charge like a minimal cost. Let's say, let's say on the street, you have 3 cars in your household. But, if we average out the available parking spot on the street and determine there's only like 2 permits available for each household. So we can only issue 2 permits, we cannot give you 3 permits. So, it all depends on, number of space available and how much cost that we put in. Then, it determines how much fees we're gonna charge to each household.
But does it apply to each car or just?
Just household, each household, let's say we determine 2 permits each household, then, if you pay certain fees, we would give you 2 permits. It's not each.
The reason I'm asking is there's a house on my street that they have 7 cars. And they park them all on the street.
We can only give out 2 permits, that's all.
Not only that, the corner, the house she's talking about, it's a business. They fix those cars and they have those cars parked outside, and they're broken down cars, and they never move them.
So
The only time they move them is when the street sweeper comes, and as soon as the street sweeper comes, they'll just come and park again.
But I think there's a regulation says you cannot park your vehicle on the street for more than 72 hours. So if it's like once a week they move it, I guess parking enforcement can still enforce it. So 72 hours a week.
I'm gonna jump on in. I think that's more of, if there's a business conducting maybe like illegal, workshop there, that's probably more of an EPA question, not, they shouldn't be fixing cars in a residential area. If it's a legal business,
Yes, it's an illegal business, correct, illegal.
that's why you should address it with the EPA, they should be fixing cars.
Believe me, I have. They came and took all the cars
enforcement and come up with other, different alternatives.
Yeah, the reason why we invited parking, because we get a lot of complaints about parking. So we're looking at solutions. This, you know, to every neighborhood, it's going to be different. And this is what he's saying, that this is not a fit off for every neighborhood. So this is why the information is out there. We've given it to you so you can have options on how to solve the situation in your particular neighborhood. Okay?
Yes.
So by neighborhood, do you mean block or do you mean
Yeah.
Florence-Firestone?
Block.
So
Let's talk about
each
block.
individual
Yeah.
block?
Right.
Minimum is,
Yeah.
minimum is
Yeah.
1 block.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Minimum is 1 block.
Minimum means 1 block, so
Yeah.
each block would be able to submit their own petition and will have to have the process individually, or are you going to lump them together and have one
Once-
process for everybody?
Once we receive the request from one individual block, we will do a study to determine, if other block needs to be involved or not. But sometimes, this parking situation will, let's say we establish the preferential parking district on this block, the parking situation may spill to other street, adjacent street. So we need to take that into consideration as well. So even though you just start with your own street, but later on, after we conduct our study, we may expand the area.
So right now, we're on just the informational step, no one has actually submitted a petition?
Correct.
So then where are you?
Yes. Yes.
I've lived in this community a long time. I remember when we had the original red cars. GM or somebody bought them out because cars and freeways came in. Everybody had to have a car, okay? Now, everybody wants a car. But the people downtown actually use public transportation because parking is so expensive down there where they work. Okay, even the businesses give. What I am saying is if you do simple math, I'm talking about 2nd and 3rd grade math, you will see that people are overpaid for the privilege of driving a car. I can walk a half a block and go from Bell Gardens to Culver City. I'm an older person. I can walk a little. If I walk to the Florence Blue Line, which of course we're revamping right now, it's just a healthy walk, all right? We're talking about the other day. I'm not afraid to walk in this area. I joke and say, I'm the ghetto grandma in the barrio because I've lived here that long, okay? I'm also the queen of Florencia because I was here for that day, okay? And other things. What I'm trying to tell you is we need to take pride in our community, but we also need to realize, I did my math. Doctor says I shouldn't be driving anymore because I'm taking a certain medication. Okay, that bus, see it? That's the 2nd or 3rd one. That's taking the place of the blue bus. Our public transportation is available. That's how the people in New York get around. It might be a smaller place, but we can do it. I took 2 buses the other day. I could have took 3 trains from Highland Park, and I took 2 buses. And I was able to get where I had to go. What I'm trying to say is let's look at a real solution. Our public transportation is reasonable, okay? It's cheap. And if you do your math, when you get through talking about gas, the cost of insurance that makes you legal to drive, and the cost of a car, you could buy a house.
And then you add these fees.
And do what the people, lawyers, and a whole lot of other people, jump on that train and that public transportation.
We've been talking about the parking. First of all, before we go to parking, we've been talking about the drugs and the gangs and all of this. I know that it's going to cost. Everything that you need is going to cost. But if we look at the solution that he's talking about, we won't have a lot of the drug dealers to come in our area and just park their car and leave it there. Because if you have the permits, then I see a strange car, and either if the patrolman can't come through there and doesn't see the permit, that means that car is not supposed to be in that area. But because we take our priorities and put them else places, and then we want to guard our kids without any provision. And what we need to do, if this is, if it's astronomical, no. But if it's reasonable, we need some permits on some streets. And there will be double parking. There won't be all of the extra because cars are not supposed to be in the area because there's no supervision and we don't have the manpower of the police officers to come through there. They just stay there for forever.
I live on Miramonte, and I feel like I may have an alternative solution. I didn't think about permit parking. Like it was mentioned, this might not be a good idea for some of us that we do have multiple cars or whatever the case might be, I guess come over. But I feel like if we paint street parking designated spots, it would help. This is not gonna cost the residents money, but it'll force the people to park in, like we had mentioned, it's a spot for 2 cars, but if they park in one, if it's designated to be parked in a certain way, you cannot not park that way. Maybe, for example, because our street is a very wide street, we can consider the way Pacific is, their parking is at an angle. If maybe we can't do it on both sides, one side would be angled and then the other one would be parallel. Our street is big enough for that, and I feel like this is something that we can probably put a petition, because we're getting tired of it. I'm pregnant right now, and 10 years ago I was pregnant, and I remember with my son, I had to walk 2 blocks with a car seat because I could not find parking in front of my house. And this is gonna happen even more so now because they're building the affordable housing on Florence, they're replacing that. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna have their own parking structure, but imagining the amount of people living in there, there's no way that they're not gonna take over our parking spots. I'm on Florence and Miramonte, so I feel like this would be maybe a viable option for us at this point. It should be something that should be definitely considered.
Okay, so we're gonna look into it. I'm not sure if at this stage we have some program like that, but definitely I will look into it, see if it's feasible.
Situation like him, there's a guy moved in across the street, and he said, it's residential all down there. Okay, now he moved in over there, so he brings in all these little junk cars and parking. People don't have anywhere to park. They block their driveway. You're trying to come in. You got to get out your car, go over to the guy's mechanic shop, or wherever they're tearing the cars and everything. Say, hey, get this guy out of my driveway. I can't park my car. But it's a real narrow street, and hey, we do need some kind of permit to run these guys out of here. You're not supposed to have a auto shop in a residential neighborhood. I know, like you said, you got to talk to somebody, but you're not the only. I got problems too.
Yeah, I see. But those ways to receive like the majority of the residents on the street is to concur with that in order to put something like that in. And also we need to observe that commuter vehicles coming into the neighborhood department. What you are saying is the people who live on the street and park their house there, which doesn't count as commuter vehicles. So this may be covered for us to implement that preferential parking district on the block. But for those people who block their driveways, definitely you can contact parking enforcement and ask them for help.
You have to, but what about the guy who wants to work on the